Watching and connected, but it's never enough. Talking with our friends about our favorite things. TV shows and movies and some random swearing. Hey! 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 This is the pretty, this is the little, this is the pretty little podcast.
But no, my nails grow really fast and they're really thick and I hate them. Yeah, I know. Honey, if I could give you that power, I would. Because they interfere with my typing. I like being able to touch the keys with my fingertips and I have to do this shit right now.
Riveting.
I know.
Hello, all you pretty little people. This is the Pretty Little Podcast. I'm your host, Deputy Chad. With me is just Jess.
Heyo.
And a Valerie Storm. Hello, Valerie.
Hi.
What's up, bitches?
Who are you, Val? What do you do?
I'm an author at Shadow Spark that Jess lovingly runs for us.
That's
and that's about it. I'm in an article for macaroni and cheese ice cream. That was cool.
Yes, the Washington Post.
Yeah.
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 No, you're the author of the Demon Storm series, which is 8 books. It's totally finished.
You are a Washington Post published author.
Okay, let me just go over her actual achievements. You just, yeah. Val is a friend. You actually were at our house last week.
Yeah. I was still there.
I know. We wish you were too. She has an annual invasion. It's kind of become a tradition that she comes and stays for a few days, and we have a good time, and we love her, and she loves us.
And then she fucks off.
Yeah.
Just like a good little guest.
Fuck off. Bye. And I lose my fun.
You are welcome anytime as long as you want. I don't care.
Oh.
So what are we talking about today, Jess?
Well, while Val was here, we realized that we had a shared love of a specific TV show that
I had never seen.
Yes, I watched it years ago. I've watched it 3 or 4 times. Well, now 4 or 5 because we watched it. But the 3rd season just came out, and that is Alice in Borderland. And that is a Japanese science fiction thriller drama television series based on the manga of the same name by Hara Aso. It stars Kenta Yamazaki and Tao Toichiya as allies trapped in an empty parallel version of Tokyo, forced to compete as players in dangerous, sadistic games. I'm not going into it further. It has, it's a combination of.
It's an excellent description of it, though.
Well, thank you, Wiki. Yeah. So it's something that I found. Well, how did you find out about it, Val, initially?
That's a good question. I think I was just on Netflix, like scrolling things, and I just saw it, and I was like, that sounds cool. I like people dying. Let's watch it. And immediately I was like, I love Japanese, and I love people dying, and I love this main character.
Yeah.
Like,
okay.
It is incredible how quickly this series grabs you. Because in a way that most series don't, because it's very hard for me to get into something. I usually give it 2 episodes and maybe 3 before I make a decision to continue or not. And this was one of those that I was just on board within 10 minutes.
That's the thing.
Yeah.
I basically was very much the same. I first saw it when season 2 came out. It was new. So it was on the recommended thing. Because Netflix was like, hey, bitch, you watch a lot of anime. We know you're going to like this. And you watch a lot of horror. So, let's combine these. Here, you're going to like this.
Yeah, we should probably mention, this is also, it's based on a manga.
Yes.
I don't know how many volumes there are when
it is complete, but, it ran from 2010 to 2015. It's been done for a hot minute.
From what I understand, the manga itself is just the first 2 seasons.
The manga ends at the end of the 2nd season. There is a little kind of an after credit scene of Arisu and Usagi, their little future, what happens after that. But that's where it ends. So this season 3 that came out is not canon as far as the manga is concerned. But we have some interesting opinions about that. But I do want to kind of do an overview of 1 and 2 first because fuck, I love this show. It is so good.
It's so good, and I'm so freaking offended because we've talked about this. Squid Games blew the freak up, and I'm like, but no, Alice in Borderlands is better.
It's so much better.
It's better. The message is better. The acting is better. The games that they play are better. I I guess the Korean kids games idea was cool, but I don't know.
Yeah, but also some of these games are kids games. They play fucked up versions of hide and seek. Hello,
yeah,
episode
maybe
4.
it's different because they get different nationalities.
Right.
Versus just one. Yeah.
And that also speaks volumes to Alice in Borderland as well, because Squid Game is not bad. You know,
The first season was
for the most part, that show was very enjoyable, and this is better than that, and it is pretty much the same concept. So much that it almost feels like one's plagiarizing the other, but
the themes are different. Squid Games was very much like fuck the capitalism society.
Yes, very
and
much.
Alice in Borderlands is like, if you have hope and you love your friends, you know, power of friendship, you can survive anything, which I guess is just like a Japanese thing.
It is, yes, it's so Japanese. A lot of this is so Japanese. The themes are the borrowing of different things, you know, the Alice in Wonderland things, the suits of cards and all of that. There are, you know,
that too. I love that too, because that's like Alice in Wonderland is like, I don't know. I didn't expect it to be in Japanese media, and I'm like, you know what? I love this.
Yes.
Thank you.
It's done really well, and there are little, you know, like Usagi, right? The female lead that means rabbit in Japanese. Yep. You know, Arisu, obviously, our main character would be the Japanese equivalent of the name Alice, right? So, and then, you know, the Queen of Hearts at the end with the croquet, blah, blah, blah. You know, all of that stuff. So there are little, like, nods to it, but it's very much its own thing. And
yeah. And I mean, you could even say that, like, going into the afterlife, whatever.
The Borderlands,
it's almost like going through the looking glass, that type of thing.
That's true. Where everything's not quite to the rules of our world.
Yeah, and it's done so subtly that it doesn't. The only reason you'd be looking for those cues would be because the show is called Alice in Borderland.
Yeah.
So it's very, very subtle. It is there, and once you're looking for it, you're going to notice more and more just the alludes to Alice in Wonderland.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, because I'd seen this, like I said, I've seen this several times. You've been in the room when I was watching it before, but you never had any interest.
Well, here's the thing. Every time you've watched it, it's mainly I was like walking through the living room to take my laundry into the bedroom or something, you know, so it's not something.
Because you gotta yell at him, Jess. You gotta say, Chad, sit the fuck on the couch and watch this fucking show.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm not gonna do that.
That's what Val did, and it got me hooked immediately.
Okay. Get me on the voice call and I'll do it for you.
Yeah, well, thank you. He listens to you better.
So I wasn't really paying attention to what you were watching. For some reason, and I just knows this, but I will tell you, Val, I thought that this was some kind of like political drama that kind of tied in with Alice in Wonderland.
He just made this up in his fucking head.
Yes,
I have no
based
idea
on nothing other than the title of the show. I didn't even know the main character was male. I thought the main character was female.
You thought Usagi was the main character?
Well, I just thought, I didn't know who the main character was. I just assumed it was female because of the Alice in Wonderland reference to the title of the show. And I thought it was some kind of political espionage, Japanese drama that just kind of tied in somehow with Alice in Wonderland.
To be fair, I would probably watch something like that. That sounds kind of cool, but no, this is far more up my alley.
Oh yeah, this was far more
it breaks your fucking heart, and it's so violent. It makes you feel all emotions, you know, so, you know.
And it basically here, the breakdown is, at least in the first 2 seasons, because season 3 is very different, and they take a different approach as to how people get into the situation they're in.
I have opinions.
We'll talk about that, but at least in the first 2 seasons, you know, there's a mystery surrounding an event that has happened to the main characters. At this point, there are 3 main characters, I believe, that are, you know, they're just kind of ragamuffins. One of them is just addicted to video games. One of them is a bartender.
Karume.
Right. And what does the other one do?
Chota, he's an office, like, he's just a salary
man. Okay.
Yeah, he's a worker.
But his mom's in a cult, and so he, you know, pays her a lot of money to help her cult, and he also fucks off from work. Like, none of them are super serious guys. They're all in the manga. Now, they did age everybody up for the live action.
I
was really glad when you told me that too, because I was like, "Oh my god, I'd be really upset if they were 16."
Yeah,
I think it's important to do that, and it definitely for season 3.
Oh, for sure. But yeah, no, in the manga, I mean, you know, high school, because It's Japan.
Right.
So yeah, they are all in high school. I think Arisu and everybody is about 16, 17. And now they're in their early 20s, more or less. So it goes from Arisu just being kind of a lackluster guy who, by the way, is like super depressed over the death of his mother and is just kind of floating through life without any purpose at all.
Right.
But it does have different meaning when you're 16 versus 22, for example, especially in Japanese culture. And he's got an older brother who is, doing well. And his dad does not even bother to like hide his disdain for what Arisu is doing with his time,
Yeah, and you had to explain that to me too, because, looking at it through American eyes, watching this show, I'm like, why doesn't the dad, light a fire under this kid's ass and, get him a job?
Arisu's an adult.
Exactly. And you explained to me in their culture, it's just they kind of let them do what they're going to do.
Yeah. He will let him know how disappointed he is, in him as a father to a son. So, your disappointment of a son.
It's Arisu's job to do the next step.
Right.
Exactly.
And
that makes...
They aren't really big on therapy, are they?
No. And, he could have used his father's connections. That was even suggested to him by Karabe or Chota or somebody. Why don't you use your dad's connections to get a job? And his dad would have absolutely helped with that. But it's up to Arisu to come to him and say, okay, I'm ready. And his dad would have immediately helped. And, but it has to be up to him to make that happen. So yeah, like you said, they're all ragamuffins in their own way. None of them are.
And they're just out in Tokyo and they're just having fun and, in that.
Fucking off from responsibility.
Yeah, they're just having a good time and they inadvertently block traffic. They cause a scene with traffic.
In Shibuya,
the police are chasing them. They run into a bathroom stall to get away. And then all the lights go out. They come out into the city and there's no one else.
Nothing.
You forgot something very important before they run into the bathroom. What do they see in the sky?
Fireworks.
Yeah, fireworks.
Fireworks.
Yeah.
Yes. And then as they go out into the empty Tokyo now, they realize that other people have also seen the fireworks. And they're like, wonder what that was.
Yeah. Yeah.
So through this event, and what season 1 and 2 do so well is they help you, they take you along for the ride. The mystery is there. You're learning things as the characters are learning them. You're not really sure what's going on really until the final or season 2.
The season 2 finale. Yes.
Yeah.
It's the only time you're like, oh, okay, that's what this was the whole time.
Right.
And, while you're watching this, you're forming opinions in your head. You've got your theories and things swimming around.
Yeah.
And none of them are correct.
Well, but what I think they do really well throughout the course of the first 2 seasons is most of the theories that people would logically come to are voiced. Could it be this?
Yeah.
Could it be that?
I love that. That was my favorite thing because I was like, no, I don't want it to be that. I've been thinking it was that the whole time. And then, and then it's like, just kidding. It's not.
Yes. No, that's why the Queen of Hearts, and obviously spoilers for the fucking series. If you haven't seen it, go watch it. If not, well, good luck. And why are you here? But the Queen of Hearts, Mira is so fucking diabolical and awesome. I love her. I love her performance. I don't love her. I love her performance.
I love her. I love her so much.
But
as a final villain, I was like,
oh yeah. Well, and it tracks with a lot of the different kinds of challenges that the final one, you do learn that the different suits of cards represent different kinds of games. Clubs is teams, spades is physical, diamonds is your mind, and hearts is, well, it'll rip your fucking heart out. Right. So at the end, it's a mind fuck, and she's so good at it. Holy shit. And then eventually the truth is revealed, but not until all games are over. And that is something that specifically in season 2, once you start playing the face cards and you get to know them and you learn they are citizens of this world. Well, what the fuck does that mean? And you go through, and Arisu, every time he's like, okay, tell me, what is going on? Where are we? Can we get back home? And everybody just has their own, answering a question with a question type bullshit. And, you'll find out at the end. Fuck! So we are right there with him the entire time going, oh my God, please. Fucking please.
Yeah, at least the first 2 seasons, it wraps up with the simplest explanation for all this. And it's so simple that I wouldn't even thought of that because it's kind of a trope at this point. as to what is going on here. And it never even crossed my mind. I had tons of other theories going on. And then, like Jess mentioned, they would address that. And as soon as a character is addressing things you're thinking, you already know it's wrong. Because they're trying to figure this out too.
But Mira, again, Mira at the same time does such a good job of selling it that like, you're like, oh. And what I think it's her second, like, explanation is basically a lot of what Squid Games is about, like rich people watching people fight and making bets on them, you know.
Yeah,
but
she does give a Squid Game explanation.
But at the same time, remember Alice in Borderland season 1 and 2 were completed in 2015.
Right.
So, I'm just saying.
Yeah, before Squid Games, right?
Yeah, huh?
And, well, because you had told me, Jess, because I didn't know. I had watched season 1 and 2 like a year ago-ish or something like that. And I'd watched it a couple of times, but it'd been a while. And I didn't know what Borderland meant until you told me.
Oh, yeah.
Like that it's a Japanese culture thing. So do you think, like, did you know what it meant when you started watching the show?
I figured what it probably was when everybody disappeared. But at the same time, it's not like playing games, like that type of thing is necessarily part of it. It's just their version of limbo, right? It's that space between life and death but it has to do, in this particular series, it has to do with like the couple of minutes after your heart stops, but before your brain shuts off, right?
It's basically, it's Japanese mythology explaining a near-death experience.
Right.
And coming back.
Yeah. So obviously updated with a lot of twists, but it also explains why some people come back and come out of comas or are able to be revived from cardiac arrest where others die. Well, they died in the Borderlands.
Yes.
So, and that is the thing. If you die in the game, you die for real. That whole fucking, that is if you are killed during one of the games or for any fucking reason, because there are people that die outside of the games.
Yep.
That's it. That is it for you. Your body is gone. Like, that's it. You die.
And that's why there's like a time limit on the Borderlands world.
Right. Which they go in more to, in season 3, you know, they go into the whole, well, there's about 2 minutes. So about 2 minutes, you know, once season 2, like at the very end of season 2, you learn that like Arisu's heart has stopped for a minute. So all of this shit took place within a minute of his heart stopping, you know, like that space. World. Right.
Real time, we're talking a minute,
right.
And a half, you know, and this entire series takes place, you know, in the Borderlands where you do fight to come back to the real world, or you perish there and you move on into the afterlife.
Right.
And the way that they do this is that they compete in games, and these games have dire consequences. You know, people die in every single one of these games.
You have to earn your way back to life.
And it is...
Which one is like your favorite game?
Oh. Do you have
like off the cuff?
I'm always going to say the King of Diamonds. I love that game so much. I would die.
That's the number one, right? Where they have to pick a number?
Yes, the numbers. That's the Chishia and Kazuryu is the King of Diamonds. And with the scales with the sulfuric acid and all of that shit.
That is an interesting
I love that game.
episode because I equate that to something like, just off the top of my head, the movie Phone Booth, right? Where the entire movie is just taking place in a phone booth. And it's still riveting as hell. And this takes place in a single room where they're playing a game of guess the number. And then there's reasons why they're guessing numbers based on percentages. And they've got these vats of acid above their head that every time they're wrong, it fills up a little more until it just pours out on them.
Yeah.
And the special effects here are phenomenal.
I don't want to die like that.
So gross.
It is. But at the same time, like Kazuryu, the King of Diamonds, his reasoning, and because, you know, the face cards get to build their own game. Whatever the fuck they want, it's their game. They develop it. They, you know, set the scene and all of that. And his whole, like, his reasoning for all of it, and the way that Shishia ultimately is the victorious one. There's so many layers to most of these games, but that one is one of the most layered as far as like motivation, humanity, really connecting with someone in a very short amount of time who you don't know at like a deep level, because it is do or die. And there's no point in filters. It is just mind to mind, and it is so good. But pretty much anything where it's a Chichia game, it's gonna be one of my favorites because I love his brain. He's far less, he's colder in the manga, especially when he was a doctor. But at the same time, he's one of my favorites because he's so sassy. He just stands there with his ego and pisses people off by existing, and that's always going to be really funny to me. And because my other favorite is probably the Jack of Hearts, which is another Chichia game, but everything about that's so fascinating to me.
That one too.
Yeah, anything surrounding that character is interesting. He does become a very interesting character, especially because he's there to game the system.
Yes. 100%.
That's what he's there for. He doesn't know what any of this is. He just knows that the games are there to be gamed.
And he understands people and how to manipulate them.
And so he'll hang back and he'll just observe, and he'll find that one simp, if you will, that just kind of carries him through.
But he's also wicked smart too.
Yes.
But to be fair, if I was in this situation, that's what I'd be fucking doing. Not even gonna lie. I'd be stepping back, watching everybody and going, all right.
I think that he had far more. He had far more of a grasp on what is actually going on than the people that are just running around trying to figure it out. Because a lot of these people, especially characters that just like, this is one of those shows where there are just disposable characters, and those are the ones that just kind of run around. They do things just spur of the moment. They're not really thinking things through, and they're just there to. They're just kind of there to show the audience, this is what happens when you fuck up. And that's kind of interesting too. I think you asked what my favorite game was. I think my favorite, after thinking about this, and then I think it's also the most important, it's the first Hearts game that they played.
That's hide and seek. That's episode 4.
Best friends die.
I just want confirmation of how they were supposed to win. Was it to take apart the things with tools?
So yes, I think that the tools, and you brought this up too, because there in a game, not always, but there are often opportunities to win. You see it with the Ten of Hearts game too at the beach, where there is a way to win, especially Hearts games, with no one getting hurt. But you have to stop and think. And that was the first game that Arisu had encountered as far as like Hearts games. There was a table full of tools, and it says use whatever you want. And they have these helmets on, attached to these like collars. And it's a fucked up hide and seek. I think that if they had stopped and thought about it and at least tried, they could have gotten their fucking helmets off and everyone would have been fine.
Yeah, because I think like human nature is, I see all these things arranged and I see use them however you want, and immediately my brain goes, who can I kill with these?
Yes. You go to violence.
That's exactly what I thought too. When I saw the tools, I was like, okay, this is what you're going to have to kill people with.
Yes. No, well, and that's what you're supposed to think.
Yeah. Right. Which is really messed up.
Yes, it is. That's a Hearts game, baby.
It ends up being so much more than that because, these devices they have on their heads, they're electronic, and when you make eye contact with somebody, you basically tag them. Right. And they become what is known as the wolf. Yeah. And the wolf is the only one that survives this game. Yep. Everyone else dies.
There's 3 lambs and 1 wolf.
Yes. So everybody, at first, they're like, well, I don't want to do this. And then it gets to a point where the time is ticking down, and then they start getting selfish, and they start wanting
They start panicking because...
Well, that girl, first, she tricks them. Like the girl that joined them, I forget her name. But she was like, this is bullshit. Got their eyes, and then she booked it. Like, she's like, I'm in for me.
Yes, so and that immediately triggered them because Karube fucking took off.
Well,
and
she was the only one in the 4 that had no sentimental attachment to each other.
Well, and she'd been trying to game them from the moment she could after all that shit with Shota and all of that shit. So
knowing that they were best friends, she had to
divide and conquer.
Yes.
Yep. But
separate them.
That game is fascinating because it's put forth, obviously, the wolf lives, the 3 lambs die. So on the surface, you're like, okay, the lambs are going to have to team up to try and kill the wolf, right? But then as the game goes on, it breaks my heart. This is the first time where I haven't cried watching that game. probably because Chad was here and he would just like make fun of me or something.
Nah.
But there is a moment when it starts to dawn on them when Arisu's the wolf, and he, to be fair, he hides and he tries to get the shit off of his head, but it's just him. Like, he can't see in the reflection properly. You would need someone there. But Karube at that point is trying to chase him and find him because they've kind of lost their minds for a little bit. When it comes down to it, it's every man for himself.
And Chota is now with that girl that's with them.
Yeah.
He's kind of sided with her because...
Yeah. But then Chota is like, he starts crying and he's like, it can't be like this. You guys have got to stop. We are everything to each other. We're all we have. Yeah. And if I'm gonna die, I don't want it to be like this. And it's kind of like a bucket of cold water. And then the entire fucking game, I'm so mad at this game. It flips on its head. And Karube and Chota realize the lambs have to hide so the wolf can live. And it gets to the point where Arisu is running around screaming, trying to find them. I don't want this. I don't want to be the one to live. You know, you're everything to me.
Especially at this point, he's like, my life doesn't have meaning.
Yeah. Yes.
Your lives do.
Yes.
You have jobs.
It can't be me.
You're productive members of society. I sit at home and play video games. And this game is very important too, because after winning the game, you know, Arisu loses his best friends and falls into a deep depression and just doesn't want to live. And that's where he meets Usagi, who, you know, eventually they fall in love.
But it starts with her.
She is really the motivating force that gets him back up off his ass to keep trying because he has just lost all hope.
It really is unfortunate that there's no representation of strong women in media. It sucks. Sorry, this is my super sarcastic bullshit because this is like, 10 years old now is when it finished, and she's a fucking badass. I love Usagi.
She is. And I love her being the white rabbit because the white rabbit's the one that leads Alice.
Yep.
And she does.
She does.
It's very well done. So, Val, what was your favorite game?
I was trying to think of it too, and I thought of a lot of them, and I was like, that one's cool, Jack of Hearts, really fucking cool. But it's the Queen of Hearts. It's the Queen of Hearts.
Queen of Hearts is so
come
good.
Here and play croquet with me. That's all you have to do. You don't have to win. We just have to win.
You just can't.
And you're like, oh my god,
that's
that's so easy. And then she's like, stop, wait, let's have tea real quick. And I'm like, oh god, this is crazy. And then I love that she brings up all the possibilities because I was thinking aliens, you know, virtual reality, like the Matrix, like, you know, all these ideas. And she's like, I'm just kidding. And she's so pretty when she does it.
She's so good. I love her dress. She's gorgeous. And she does that, like, slightly looking off unhinged thing with a smile, like, so well.
Yes.
And she lies beautifully. And Arisu's like, is that true? And she's like, no, of course not.
She is definitely very photographic.
Oh, yeah. She's gorgeous and unhinged.
And I think that she was perfect for that role.
Oh, yeah.
I think that she was perfect for that character. And we should probably also mention, too, that, you know, these people are forced to play these games.
Oh, sure.
If they don't...
Oh, we didn't bring up the visas at all.
Right. So once they compete in the game and they win, there's, 2 days of a visa?
It's determined by the number on the card. So their first game was a 3 of clubs, I believe.
Gotcha.
So they got 3 days on their visa. And so on and so
that
forth.
just means that that's how many days until the next game starts. Well, if you just say, fuck this, I'm not going to participate, a laser from the sky will just come down and go through your skull and kill you.
Once your visa expires, that's it. Sky laser ends your ass. And they do a good job with explaining that without having to do a lot of exposition. You know, like when they exit that first game and they're like, what the fuck is going on? This guy wanders up and he's like, I can't do it anymore.
Yeah,
I'm done. I'm leaving. And you're like, whoa.
Not only that, but once you enter one of the gaming arenas, if you leave, the same thing will happen.
Yeah, it's like a little laser grid around it. So once you're in, maybe.
Such a good job showing all of those things that you need to know.
Yeah.
Which also just leads to more theories in your head. Like, you know, like Val was saying, she thought it was aliens. I could see why. Because the lasers are just coming out of the sky, like they're coming out of a UFO or something.
Well, and some of the technology is like way too advanced.
Right.
Like, how is this a thing? You know?
Yeah, and like, why do electronics not work? That's a typical alien thing.
Yeah.
You know, it's like there's a lot of shit that it's like, I hope it's not aliens, but
I had that theory too. That was the first thing I went to.
See, VR makes a lot of sense, which is why Mira's so good, because she gives all these elaborate explanations that are probably along the lines of what people have been thinking, you know, and then just shows you how stupid that idea is. And you're like, all right, well,
like,
fuck you, lady.
yeah, like from a writing perspective, I was like, I love this.
Yes.
Like, this is key dialogue for the whole show.
Yes. Yes.
Absolutely. So is there anything that we need to go over in the first 2 seasons? Because I don't want to spoil too much here. I just want people to go watch it.
Well, I mean, I will say that I do want to bring up your favorite game. I do need to call you out a little bit, love of my life, because as we were watching it, you were like, oh, I mean, they're going to figure something out. Like, out loud, you're like, they're going to figure something out. That these are all 4 of the main characters. They're not going to kill 3 of them. They're fucking not.
I loved it when he said that. I was like, oh, baby.
I just looked over it at Val, and we were like, Anyways, back to this. You're like, there's no way. There's no way. No. And that's why it's such a good game, because it shows you how ruthless this world is.
What game is it?
Hide and seek.
Oh.
Well, the Karabe Chota death thing, which Karabe's blood like gets in Arisu's mouth, and
yeah.
I do need to just give a shout out to the ugly crying in this. It's something that's pretty prominent in like Japanese media and whatnot. When they feel something, they fucking feel it. If they're not concerned with, there's always snot involved and stuff. Like if you're actually heart and soul broken sobbing, it's not great.
They are definitely, they did a very good job at showing like the visceralness that comes along with witnessing people die or people you love die, and just the emotions that you go through seeing that. Like they did a very, very good job.
From a culture that is like so like just solid. Yeah. It's like, dang, this is good.
That's when they go. You know, I will say it does a wonderful job of exposing and really getting into all the nooks and crannies of many aspects of humanity, the good and the bad. And it's all done in a way that, again, you know, Val and I are writers. It's so well written. It is so fucking
There's
good.
not a single episode in the first 2 seasons that feel like filler.
No.
At all. There's no scenes that feel like filler. Everything is very purposeful. Everything is well written. It is important. You do have to pay attention to it. I just think that those first 2 seasons are definitely just a goddamn masterpiece. You're not
going to give a shout out to the king of clubs? Val. That's Kuma.
See, you guys.
I just think it's so funny. I just laugh at the camera work of making sure don't show his penis. Don't show his penis.
He is pretty though.
It's so funny to me.
Watching this with Val was great.
Game. Yeah.
It's just every character that pops up, you're just like, oh, I love them. I love them. I'm in love with them. I love this character now.
She has a big heart.
I love so many of them. I still like Anne a lot too.
Anna's great. I like Aguni a lot.
There are a lot of very likable female characters in this. Yeah. For sure. But
and everybody has an arc as well. It's an ensemble cast over time, but like Kuina gets a great arc. Chishiya, you get to understand him. Aguni has a great fucking arc. You know, all of these different people, they all feel like real fucking people.
Yes.
And that's why you
also
connect.
Feel like they would exist in reality.
Sure.
These are not anime characters that are just in live action form. This is real people while you're watching this, going through a real thing that
and they, like I said, they show the ugly parts too. Like Niragi is a fucking psychopath, you know, and man, does he have a bad time, you know, but yeah, it's just, you really come to know, and I can't always say respect because it depends on who we're talking about, but the motivations for everybody are revealed through like backstories and but not in like an overly clunky, dragged out, oh my God kind of way. You know?
And I also appreciate that they didn't try to do that thing where because there are some vile characters in this show.
Niragi.
And they didn't
Fuck that guy.
do that tropey thing where they try to turn it around. you know, that character specifically was just like, if I'm bad, then I'm going to be bad the best.
3?
Yes, but that's after the fact. That's after he came back. He's talking about in the Borderlands, and we're still talking about seasons 1 and 2. Thank you.
Yeah, we're going to get to season 3 because I think the meat of this is season 3.
I think
the biggest discussion here is going to be season 3.
I need another drink before I talk about season 3 because I have feelings. So season 2 wraps up beautifully. You know, we figure out what the big mystery is. Everybody makes their choice. And they even address the biggest thing, which, I mean, Val, you've read my books. The whole seeing you in another life when I knew you before, will I recognize you type thing's kind of a theme. So when Arisu sees Usagi in the real world and something draws him to her, I was like, I swear to fucking God, show, you give them this. They have earned this. I will jump through this TV and strangle you if you don't let them be together. So even though at the end of season 2, they don't have memories of what happened, but there's something that's like, well,
At this point, I'm going to say spoilers.
Oh, just
so
now?
if you've listened up to this point, you don't want to spoil, go watch this shit and then come back to this, but we are
spoilers for season 3.
Well,
definitely.
3, but there's things in season 3 that we can't talk about without spoiling things from season 1 or 2, whatever.
Yeah.
So just be aware.
But yeah, aside from the last shot of season 2, which is this Joker card on the table.
Well, and I was going to ask, because, you didn't read the manga, right?
No, but I've read summaries of it. I know it ends with them waking up in the hospital, finding each other, and then there's like a little skip ahead, just a tiny little shot where you find out that Arisu becomes a psychiatrist, and they do end up together.
So they don't do the Joker card at all in the manga?
No. That is the first Netflix original edition, which at the time I was like, oh, you're right, no one did the Joker card. Oh, I want more because I love this show so much. Sure.
Yeah.
It
made sense on its face.
So and that's where the show kind of shit the bed.
Well, so I will say, here, why don't we go around and individually give our initial overall thoughts of season 3, and then we'll really get into what they did with this. Good and bad.
Yes.
So, Val, as the guest, yay or nay on season 3 overall?
It's not too bad. Like you had said, internet opinion was, I didn't need this, but it's okay. Mm-hmm. That's how I felt. Like Squid Game season 2, I didn't even watch it because I finished season 1. I was like, the show's stupid as hell.
Well, I hated the way season 1 Squinty Eggs ended. That was stupid.
Yeah. And so season 2 Squid Games came out and I was like, I don't freaking need this. I don't care. I don't want this. Season 3 Alice in Borderland, I was like, it's aight. Like, I'd watch it again. Like, it's not the worst. Continuation.
So we did watch season 2 of Squid Games. It was very contrived and weird.
It was not.
Some of the games were okay. A lot of the characters, I was like, can he die already? Can she just fucking die already? I don't want to listen to you anymore. It was, I don't know, whatever. Squid Games, I'm always going to compare it to Alice in Borderland because there's lots of similarities, but Alice in Borderland did every single thing better across the board. And I maintain the only reason Squid Games blew up like it did is because it came out when everyone was in quarantine. And like Tiger King and Animal Crossing New Horizons, like it was a new thing where everyone was stuck at home.
Yeah, it was the new thing that everyone was experiencing collectively.
But,
so,
God, I wish to fuck this would catch on. Well, I don't know, because then they just keep going and keep going. And watch season 1 and 2. Season 3, for me, overall, I don't hate it, but I probably will not watch it again. And if they do what I'm afraid they're going to fucking do for season 4, I won't watch it.
Yeah, season 4 is going to be awful.
I'm certain they're going to do it, but I weirdly, I trust it. I do not trust Squid Games to do it.
Well, I have a specific line to say when we get to the end of what they're obviously setting up for season 4, because I have a fucking gotcha moment for you, Valerie. that is going to shut you the fuck up. But anyways, you're allowed to have your opinion. Chad, what is your overall thoughts of season 3?
My overall opinion on season 3 is that it is underwhelming.
Meh.
Now, I'm not saying it's terrible completely. It's watchable.
Some of the games are fun.
My problem with it is the way that season 1 and 2 felt like an original thing that was not based on something else. Season 3 definitely felt like it was based on a manga. It felt like a live-action version of something else.
See, it reads to me like fan fiction of the first 2.
Yes.
Like someone took it and was like,
feels
"No, go back."
I don't think it's necessary, but it's one of those things where it's like compare it to like a Bill and Ted, right? The first 2 Bill and Ted movies are universally loved. And then 30 plus years later, they made Bill and Ted 3.
I don't hate 3.
It exists.
You don't like 3.
It's fine. It doesn't remove the fact that season 1 and 2 exist, and I can always go back and just enjoy that. It's not retconning anything. It's not really adding anything.
Yeah.
So it just exists.
I like that they didn't retcon anything.
Yeah.
Like that was nice.
Well, I will say that some of the way they set up the games is fucking bullshit compared to season 1 and 2, but we'll get into that. So
why don't we start there? The difference is
bullshit? Okay.
The difference between
let me get my scroll.
The differences between the first 2 seasons and season 3 and the way that the games are conducted.
So what I don't have an issue with is kind of the more team-based approach where you start out in game 1 with a group of people, and then those survivors they kind of travel together.
This is season 3.
Yes, it's different from
It's more of a tournament style.
And everyone has to play.
Team elimination. But
there's also other games that you see like Usagi and fucking Ryuji go to that Arisu doesn't do. You know, like the one with the columns and all the lasers of like rainbow swaths of murder or whatever that was.
Season 1 and 2 function in the same way that the show Survivor does.
Right?
I love
Survivor.
It's every man for himself, but you still need to form alliances. You still need to have people on your side.
Now you're speaking my language.
Season 3 takes a different approach where it's team-based tournament-style games where the team gets through. And I think that's fine.
I don't have an issue with
that. In fact, they needed something different.
Yeah.
And that's the most different thing they did. But my problem with season 3 as a whole is that they have already removed the mystery of the show. You already know that this is a limbo afterlife situation where you are fighting to either remain here or remain there as a citizen, or you perish in the games and you just move on into the afterlife. That mystery does not exist in season 3. You are well aware if you watch those first 2 seasons of what is going on. And they do nothing to give it like a fresh take or some other twist on that to where you could possibly get stuck here forever, which I think would have been more interesting if they were competing to not get stuck there as a citizen. Because
interesting.
In my opinion, the worst thing that can happen to you here is to become a citizen of the Borderland. Dying and moving on, not a problem. Living and coming back to life, fine. The terrifying thing is to remain there as a citizen. And there are some characters that do it willingly. I think they all have to.
I just realized they never gave them the choice at the end of season 3 either.
No, there are characters in the Borderlands that are stuck there and they never had the choice.
And even in the Choosing Your Futures game, none of them was ever staying and becoming a citizen. Because you could argue, well, if I chose the future that had me succeeding in life, that is my choice. If some of the other ones showed you becoming a citizen and like developing your own game and you chose that could be your choice. But they were never given the choice. They just go through these games and then are sent back.
It was all that guy's choice. Like forget his name, the serial killer guy.
Banda.
It was because of him. Like, he was the reason.
I know.
Because he just wanted Arisu, and he just wanted to fuck around and kill people.
Which is such a... Okay, all right, hold on. So, I have 2 things we're going to talk about right now. My main issue with season 3 is the character assassination of Usagi. Her motivations make no fucking sense.
Both of them are just kind of not the same characters in this.
No.
They removed any of their, like, quirks or any of their like interesting traits that make them badass in their own way, especially Usagi.
No, this is not my Usagi. I don't know what the fuck happened.
In season 3, she's pregnant. She doesn't know that until after Arisu goes into the Borderlands to bring her back out. But once she finds out she's pregnant, I think that that's something that triggers her mind that I can't be doing this parkour shit anymore. I can't be kicking ass anymore. And it just really nerfed down this character.
But her motivations for going back seem so rushed and out of fucking nowhere.
To see her father.
Well, yeah, okay. But why would she think he's there? He's dead. She was in the Borderlands. Did she ever fucking see him? She doesn't have memory
of it.
She does, though. Yeah, she gets it over time.
Over time, but as she goes, and I don't even think she willingly went in. I think Ryuji tricked her into going.
He talked her into going. He talked her into going.
Yeah, but he slipped that thing into her drink. Did she willingly drink it to go?
I think he drugged her.
I think it was a willing thing.
I took it as she was depressed. She missed her dad. She wanted a way to find him and was just like borderline suicidal about it. And because he had to get Usagi there, he drugged her and sent her there. That was how I kind of took the whole thing.
If that's true, I might need to rewatch it, just that part. Because if that's true, that changes a lot as far as the way I perceive her in season 3. Because she had that whole interview with Ryuji, who is a new character to season 3. He's a professor that's obsessed with the land of the dead, to the point where he allowed one of his students to talk him into, I'm sure he fought real fucking hard, into giving her this drug that in theory would let her have a near-death experience. She ended up dying, and now he's obsessed with learning everything he can about the land of the dead, whatever. So he interviewed her, and she just spills all her deepest, darkest secrets to him. She doesn't fucking know him. He's not a psychiatrist. He's a professor. What's weird is she didn't tell any of this to Ari. And she specifically says, I can't tell my husband any of this. What the fuck are you talking about?
Yeah, that's...
okay, so let's take Usagi, the person, out of Usagi from Borderlands, because they are different people, right?
True,
so
that's
Usagi
fair.
In the real world, she is a woman who has lost her dad. She doesn't know if he killed himself or if he died in an accident. And she's married this guy who was really nice, but ultimately they met in a hospital after a meteor thing. So she's gone through a lot of trauma.
But it's been like 5 years or something since the Shibuya incident.
But there are a lot of people that would not tell their husbands things like that, especially in Japanese culture.
Okay, I'll give you that. But why would she tell some professor guy who's obsessed with it? To the point where she said, if I could choose and be with my dead father in my dreams, that's where I'd rather be.
I think she was being honest because she needed to get it out in some capacity, but they don't really support therapy there.
That's true.
So she's not going to go to a therapist. She's going to talk to this guy who gets it because he feels the same way. Arisu might not in her perspective.
Arisu's just a sunshine baby in the real world, just brushing his teeth and being fucking adorable.
I was worried that they were going to take his character and make him fall in love with Usagi. That's where I thought that they were going. I thought
you mean Ryuji?
Yes, Ryuji. I thought
he kind of does.
I thought that too.
I think he does.
Really goes there.
A lot of the possible futures show him just obsessively looking at her picture and talking to her, texting her, saying, "Hey, what are you up to?" That type of thing. I think he
could have gone that way.
Yeah,
but they swayed it away. Thank God, because if we had gone love triangle, I would have turned the show off.
But she's trying to make it happen too. I don't mean she wants Ryuji to fall in love, but when they finally meet again, Arisu, in a fucking baller move, just walks up and punches the fuck out of that asshole. And she immediately defends Ryuji.
The way that Usagi is acting with Ryuji it seems to me like she did kind of, at least for me, it felt like she had a thing for him.
See, I don't get
Whether it was that she felt sorry for him because he is in a wheelchair, or because she is legitimately having feelings for him.
So I took it more. Do you remember how stridently and immediately she protected that kid in the Queen of Diamonds game in season 2? That you are slightly helpless. I need to
And you have to understand that even though she doesn't know she's pregnant, she is.
Yeah.
And maybe there's some kind
there
of
could be
motherly
hormones,
instinct.
Protect.
Yes.
Possibly. But the point is, he's the reason she's fucking there. And all she can say is, "Oh, I wouldn't be alive if it wasn't for him." Bitch, you're the reason. He's the reason you're here.
If it wasn't for him.
That even lent more to my thought that he drugged her because of the way that she reacted. Like she treated him like a helpless guy, and she protected him all like ever since the beginning.
Yes.
Like in that very first game where they had to dodge those light beams.
All the way till the end. Like even in the finale of season 3, when he is trying to drag her into the whirlpool, she is not even fighting him.
Yeah,
She's saying no, but you're telling me she can't. Also, how the fuck is he like swimming through the water and holding onto her? He's not kicking. He literally cannot use his legs.
It's because he's buff, Jess. Obviously.
He's good at pull-ups. Yeah, that explains
that finale was wild.
It was
and it was ridiculous, and it just kind of like.
Can I just say that they made a callback to the very first episode of season 1? Did you catch it? And I liked it. I liked it a lot.
Go ahead.
It was choose the life or the death way.
Yeah.
And that was the very first game that they played. And I was like, I love that.
I don't like care.
That. Oh, it was so good. But yeah, the rest of it was kind of
the explanation. So one of my main questions, season 1 and season 2, you have many questions, right? And over the course of those seasons, every single one of your questions is answered in a very satisfying and logical way.
And purposeful.
Yes. And you're like, that's good writing. Season 3, my main question more than anything else was, how the fuck is Banda able to move between the world of life and death? How can he go between the Borderlands and our world? How can he fucking do that? No one else did that before.
He's the Joker.
No, but he's not. The Joker's just a card. And the Joker is the card that bridges between life and death. What the fuck are you talking about?
The Joker can just do that, Jess.
What if, you know how ghosts exist, right? There are people that have died and they can come back to our world to communicate with us in certain ways. Maybe that's what he's doing.
My issue is
going, and that's perfect, except they don't explain it that way.
They don't, and there's no prerequisite in season 1 or 2.
I would prefer that explanation, honestly.
Well, most people wouldn't be able to see those people, right? We only see Anne seeing him.
Yes.
Yeah.
Which also isn't explained. Why can she see him? She didn't take any drugs. She's just a person.
I think because she'd gone to Borderlands before. Like, she had been there.
Well, I mean, you could also say that maybe she's clairvoyant or something, you know? Maybe she just has that ability to see.
But none of that's just our guessing. Nothing is told to us as to why that happened. Why he's able to, in that first game that Ryuji goes to, where it's like Old Maid, which was kind of cool, and Jesus, that's fucking gross. The eyeball.
But see, this right here is season 3 in a nutshell, because what are we doing? We are trying to justify what season 3 did,
saying.
And it did not explain it to us.
At the end of that game, because at the beginning it was just a guy, right? It wasn't Banda. So, but at the end of the game, Banda comes forth into that guy, like becomes that guy, gives him a Joker card and says, "Welcome to the Borderlands." What the fuck are you talking about?
Cool, but yeah, it made no sense. And
but that also isn't where he went to the Borderlands, because he had to go meet Usagi and they both ended up in the fucking hotel or whatever, passed out and got taken to the hospital. So that's not even when he went to the Borderlands. So what are you talking about?
I think he did go to the Borderlands, but then Banda sent him back.
How?
I don't know. I don't know. That is just Netflix. Maybe that is retconning a little bit.
Yes, it is. It's all they also retcon the way that the games are set up, because in Kick the Can, and Chad was the first one to call this out when we were watching it, Kick the Can, which by itself was a decent game, I suppose. It's interesting, although I'm really irritated they didn't use the fakes for or wait for the can to get down to 3 seconds and throw it into a bunch of the other team and fucking kill them so you can get more of your team through in future cans.
Ooh, that'd be genius.
I know. I'm ruthless.
So the first 2 seasons, when it comes to the games, the rules are very concise, very clear.
And laid out ahead of time.
Yes, laid out before they even compete in the games.
Yes.
And they stick to those rules.
Yes.
With season 3, they just kind of oh, by the way, here's new rule.
Yes. And I will give you a perfect example. In my favorite game, the King of Diamonds game, at the beginning, it is said when a player is eliminated, a new rule will be added. They don't say what the new rule is, but going in, that will happen. With Kick the Can, I think it's Shion, tosses it down to Arisu, or tries to. He doesn't get it. Some other guy knocks him over, gets it, but it lands on the ground and the guy gets blown in half. And then the little, computer lady comes on and is Oh, yeah, by the way.
By the way, this was closed. It gets hit hard enough.
You didn't fucking say that.
None of that was.
You're changing the game as you go. What the hell is this? That's not fair.
Yeah, because my first thought is I'm going to throw that shit over the railing and have somebody catch it at the bottom.
Absolutely. Have some people stay around the hole. Have some other people go out, toss, boom, or kick it again, or what the fuck ever. To be fair, I don't actually know the rules of kick the can. I've never played it. So maybe you can't kick it again after. I don't know. So things like that just go to show the differences in thinking this through. And if anything, all it does is show how good season 1 and 2 are. It highlights better seasons. It makes me wish I was watching that.
Now, I will say season 3 has one of my favorite games in it. If not, like, my second favorite game. And that's
which one?
Is it the zombie game? The zombie game is good.
That one is pretty cool.
That is very
awesome.
good.
I think that was well done. It was well written. During the course of that whole event, that is the moment where you get to know the characters.
That's the closest to a classic Alice in Borderland type experience.
Right. Because that was the like thing with seasons 1 and 2 was that while they're competing, that's where you get to know these characters.
Sure.
And that was crucial for season 3. And I'm glad that they did that. And I'm glad that they did it in a game that was actually interesting. And it was, it's a card game, and it could be a card game like any other, but it's not something we've seen before.
If they were smart, they would market that and make that actual merch and just sell the deck with the zombie cards and the vaccines and the shotguns and everything. That would legit sell. If you were like at a party of like 20 people or something, that'd be great.
Well, I wonder if they can't because I think it's already a game.
Is it?
Didn't they say that it was like a take on Old Maid or something?
No, that was the original game that Ryuji played around the metal table. That was Old Maid.
No, there's lots of games like that. Like it's called like Werewolf and stuff.
Well,
like,
One Night Ultimate Werewolf is fantastic, and we used to play it.
It's very different.
I really like that. Yeah, that is different. But no, I love it. Had subversion for the audience written in a beautiful way. The fact that Arisu was a zombie from the beginning.
All along.
And yes, all of this shit.
And he knew.
So good.
He was like, okay, the thing here is like, you're competing in a card game that has a zombie in the deck. The zombie is able to take a human character in the actual game and turn them into a zombie, giving them a zombie card. The only way you can get rid of the zombie card is either to get a vaccine card and you live, or if somebody plays a shotgun card and kills you and you die in real life.
Yep.
And you move on into the afterlife. So it makes sense that, the rules state that whatever team, the zombies or the humans, have the most in the group, by the end of the game, the opposite team, the team with the fewest members are all going to die.
Which kind of calls back also to the Queen of Diamonds game, with not Queen of Diamonds. Fuck. What is it? Queen of Spades. It's gotta be Queen of Spades. The tag.
Yeah.
With the two teams and all of that. And you think you want to side with the queen, but over the course of the game, you realize, oh, no, actually hope and all of that is actually going with yourselves and subverting that. So it did kind of call back to that type of thing, but in its own way, where it didn't seem like a copy of that type of thing.
But in the group of, what were there, like 25, 30 people?
There were 4 teams. So there were a lot of different people. I assume there were a lot of other people playing that we just didn't really see.
So initially, there's only 4 zombies.
1 in each team.
Yes. So Arisu was the zombie on his team, and he knew that the only way to win was to get more zombies.
Right.
that's
Because
what drives me crazy is because it's like season 3 is all about teamwork, and it could have been so easy because I don't remember if the rule said you can't show your cards to anybody. But
it didn't say one way or the other.
And been like, okay, you have a vaccine, I have a zombie card. Cool, done.
Yeah.
The only thing that was kind of expressly given was that you didn't want people to know you were a zombie because then they could play the shotgun card and kill you.
Well, all it says is this can happen. Not that it would, but it could.
Like that Queen of Hearts game, not Queen of Hearts, that 3 of Hearts, the very first Hearts game.
Right.
But just like that one, if they had decided to work together, it would have been fine, but humans will human, so...
Well, Shiyuki, I don't remember her name. I think it's Shiyuki or something like that. She freaked out and became the wolf and ran away, and all logic went out the window at that point.
Right. And it happens in this one, too, where there's just people that are just dicks, and they're like, no,
Dude, the whole the Akino, the broccoli haired guy who I said would be a fucking, he reminds me of Jack Doherty. Like, I was just like, he better die. I can't stand this fucking guy. But you are right. You get to start to know these characters a little bit. I will say
because while they're playing the game together, it's a one-on-one thing with everybody separated throughout this arena, and it's all one-on-one. So you get a lot of dialogue back and forth, and this is how these characters are trying to figure out the other person's motivation.
Yep.
Try to get information from their other teams about their other teams.
But can you even trust the people on your own team? So it is...
Right.
Yeah.
There's a lot of psychological fuckery going on.
Which is what is so good about the show.
And I think that out of everything in season 3, this game in particular was definitely like the highlight for me. I think that the first game they played with the
fire arrows, the fortunes,
draw your
game.
luck, whatever it was.
Oh, that one was badass.
It was.
It was a good opener.
Yeah.
And it served its purpose because there were people that were there that had been there before. They had all been there. People that have no idea what's going on. And you can see the way that the people that have been there before, even though they don't remember being there, they're still on high alert and very aware that something's going on.
Yeah, from my understanding, everybody had been there before. They just didn't know at that point that they had been there. Which you get because they all had the Joker card, right? Which means Bando's been going around to random people for some fucking reason, and somehow, kind of like the guy from Squid Game. See this? So this is the thing. Squid Games seems like a poor imitation of Alice in Borderland.
Absolutely.
But this season has a lot of elements of Squid Game in it, with this guy going around giving you this thing, making you join these, and you join these games, even though you don't understand what's on the fucking table. And that's the fucking difference, is now this seems like it's got elements of Squid Game.
That's what I was saying.
Which I don't like.
Like, season 3 just feels like it's a live action adaptation of something else that I haven't seen.
Yeah. And I do also need to point out that season 3 is 6 episodes. It's shorter. So, and for the most part, aside from Arisu and Usagi, and I guess Banda and Yabo, I call him the Dom, he was the guy from the Jaguars, the other guy who stayed there.
He just disappeared.
He just showed up to give Banda a reason to talk about shit for a little bit and then disappeared. He was like, yeah, shit back on my side too. What's going on over there? Why is he even here? Nostalgia, that's why. You're like, that guy I know.
Well, and what you said right there just kind of like brilliantly describes season 3 in a nutshell, right? Season 1 and 2 felt like it had room to breathe. There was character development. There were bonds forming. And
then breaking and then coming back together later on.
Right. There were characters they were introducing that kind of were like wild cards that kind of threw a wrench in the scheme. Season 3 felt rushed as hell.
Yes, it did.
And
it's because all those characters were shitty. They all sucked. The other one I cared about was Usagi and Arisu and Tetsu.
I like Tetsu and what's his name? Kazuya. I like Kazuya, the Yakuza guy.
Yeah. Even though he wasn't there for
I liked him. Well, the problem is Karabe and Chota die in episode 4 of season 1. Kazuya, and then Tetsu doesn't die until late in the season. And when Karabe and Chota died, I was like, when they died, I was like, oh, damn. That's all.
When Tetsu died, I did have not like an emotional reaction, but I was like, that hurts.
I know. And
I was
I do like how they subverted because you meet him, he's a drug addict. You figure, he's going to be a pain in the ass. He's going to get somebody killed. He's going to drag everybody down. Yep. And he's the only person aside from Arisu and Usagi who are pale imitations of their former selves.
When they introduced this character, I thought he was going to be responsible for a lot of people dying because of selfishness and wanting another
And then when that one girl gets shot in the arrow, shot with that fire arrow, he's like, don't worry, guys, I got this. I'm going to make a tourniquet. And I was like, whoa, what?
Yeah. But it makes sense. He was like, the police can't know if I'm bleeding. That makes sense as to why he would know how to do that.
They subverted my expectations with this character immediately.
I liked him.
Making him, he's dealing with his own inner struggle, right? I mean, he's an addict. And dealing with that, I don't know if you've ever been around addicts or anything like that. It does not matter what is going on in the world. The only thing they're preoccupied with is getting their next hit. That's it. They are 100% in
And
their
you
own
speak
head.
from experience on having been around addicts, like
Yes.
hardcore heroin addicts.
Yeah, they do not give a shit what's going on around them. And for this character to be dealing with that and also competing in these games, but also having humanity, he's doing a lot of the heavy lifting.
He's fighting through the DTs, all the shakes, all the withdrawal. He's hoarding this little bit that he has left.
Yes. The whole time he has some in his pocket.
Yeah.
And he never uses it. And I'm like, not even right until his death, he never uses it.
Well, it's kind of like Queena, who keeps the cigarette in her mouth, right? She walks around with it in her mouth, but she won't use it because her mom doesn't want her smoking. But it's also kind of I choose life, but I'm going to have this here because it's a security blanket type thing. So,
Yep.
But time and time again, he really came in clutch for people. And I really came to like him as much as I could within such a short amount of time. You know,
these characters didn't really have enough time to develop or breathe. The relationships didn't either, because it seems like season 3, they were only interested in the relationship between Arisu and Usagi and getting them out of this situation.
with Ryuji being a fly in the ointment.
Right, and every other character in season 3 just seemed ancillary to the main plot. They tried with Tetsu. They tried with that character, but that was like the only character that I felt like, besides the Yakuza guy, those were the only characters that they really tried to like breathe humanity into, while also
that
dealing.
last game, they did. They like gave everybody like, here's stuff that you should care about, and it was like, okay, cool, but this is the last episode.
That's too little, too
I don't
late.
care. Right? Yeah, exactly.
My problem with the characters in this one is it falls into what I don't like about so much Western media, where everyone has one character trait, and that's their whole personality. That's the end of it. Right. I can't remember her name, but they're the older lady who is married to a guy who beats her.
Yes.
That's like her character trait.
She's like, I'm old and motherly and a little bit shaken because I've been beat up.
Yeah. And I'm not minimizing domestic violence, obviously.
Right, but she plays she's a victim through that whole season, and she never doesn't become a victim.
Yeah, well, yeah, I'm trying to think if she ever played a pivotal role in moving things forward, because everybody from our previous gang, from An to Queena to Chishia to Aguni, everybody had a moment to be the hero, to be the star, to be the one to move things forward.
Moment. In that last game, she was the one who chose to stay in that room.
Okay, you know what? That's fair.
And she was
that
like,
sucks.
you guys are young.
That's a good point.
Yeah, but that was it. And I was like, okay, I guess.
I also I don't know, with Ray being stuck in the room and then later her being stuck in the room, it makes more sense for her to react like that. But there isn't, at least as far as what is made clear, it's just sights and sounds, right? So why can't you just sit there with your eyes closed and your hands over your ears and just like zone out? Why is everybody so fucking traumatized by this stuff? It's not real.
Did you watch Hunger Games?
Yeah.
Okay, so you remember the Mockingjay scene where she's in the forest and they get stuck and all they hear is her sister's screams?
Well, okay. All right.
So she's covering her ears and she's like trying to ignore it, but that's what I was thinking, is like the sound is so loud that it's.
But what I will say is that like this whole futures thing doesn't make any fucking sense, because since when has it ever been established that you can choose your future? Why would the Borderlands have any fucking say over what your future is? So then why would you think that any of this is even remotely real? At least in Mockingjay, that was her sister's screams. They are mimicking her actual screams. You know shit is actually fucking happening to, I don't remember her names, like Prowl or Prin or something like that.
Prim. Like Primrose. Prim.
Yeah. So that is like, oh my God, she's actually being tortured.
Yeah, that was annoying. I really wish Arisu had been the one to say like, hey, this is probably just to distract us from picking the wrong door.
Yes.
Like, yeah, because I was like, that's dumb. That's so dumb.
Here's something I will say about that game in particular. As soon as you go through the door, you are now in a different room that shows you many different futures.
Yes.
So your future is only set in stone as so far as the last door that you go through.
If that's even fucking true.
So whatever decision you made 5-6 rooms ago doesn't even matter at this point. They keep just retconning these decisions time after time after time. And that last game that they played, I don't know if you noticed, but that was the last that lasted for an episode.
It was a chunker of a fucking game.
That was a long game that had no stakes other than the final door that you go through. And that was completely underwhelming for me. And
they had an extra player.
Oh, yes, yeah.
Don't even get me started on that.
And even with even with Usagi being pregnant and being given the extra bracelet with more points on it,
that was so stupid.
But it was stupid because it only came into play in the last fucking game. If that's true, she should have had double every fucking thing, and she should have had double the canisters in the bus. She should have. If she's been playing for 2 people this whole fucking time, it should have been from the beginning. They're changing things as they go.
I agree,
and
100%. But also,
that's why I think that was Vanda just pulling strings because he was being an asshole.
Well, and that's the thing.
That
I kind of expected the whole possible future thing to turn out to be an obvious fuck you because it's the Joker. Aren't you supposed to be fighting the Joker? Well, so why would you believe anything he says or does?
Here's the problem with that scenario as well. Let's say that Usagi's band ran out of points. She's to be killed. That would also kill the baby.
Yeah.
Who still had points. Now, what if the baby ran out of points? They would have to kill the baby without killing him.
Which could happen. She could start miscarrying or something like that. She was very recently
how would it kill the baby if it didn't have a collar?
She would have to, I know. Well, literally, it doesn't have the bracelet on and it doesn't have a collar, so how the fuck is it going to kill the baby?
That whole situation, yes, exactly.
It didn't even they stated at the beginning of the season it's not even far enough along to have a heartbeat. So they did not somehow magic a tiny collar inside her womb. That didn't fucking happen, so...
I also want to express my...
Sloppy!
I really...
Please, express yourself. This is
don't like what they did with the Rey character.
Oh.
Because when they introduced her, she was interesting. Mm-hmm. When they introduced her in the zombie card game, she was interesting. She had things worked out in her head.
She was smart.
She came into this series as a person that was methodical, that knew what she was doing, was smart, and capable of doing...
She came across as the Chishia kind of role, right?
She felt arrogant, though, and it really showed arrogance when Arisu, tricked her back. And I think that's why she became, less...
Well, but at the same time, I kind of I think she took that as a like-minded person. You know what? Because, with me, I consider myself... If you can trick me like that, my instinct is to go, damn, wow. You know what? Fucking A, well done.
This is probably someone I can trust.
Yeah.
And not that she doesn't,
I think that's what she did.
She comes into season 3 as this very capable person with forethought, and then has to be carried the rest of the way through the season.
Yeah.
And even when she is, in the room alone, when, it's flashing all the bullshit at her, it's being loud, it's that right there for me, that killed that character for me, because I don't feel like that would have really gotten under her skin the way that it did.
Unless it's all been a front this entire time, and this is how she actually.
But it's not
we didn't see that.
It's not like her parents were like that. Her parents were not. No, because whenever she gets out, she calls her mom and tells her about how she's working on a new anime and it's going to be a movie, and her mom is super excited.
Because that's the future that was chosen, which apparently did happen, which is stupid. My thing is with Rey, because you bring up a good point. If they had just shown her late at night, everyone else is asleep. She sneaks away and looks at a drawing she has in her pocket and is like, Mom, I hope you'll be proud of me. Just some little something to show that vulnerability. Then when she's locked in the room later and all her worst fears are being thrown at her, it would make sense and it would have more emotional impact. But we never get that. We never get that character development. She's shown as awesome, then nothing, then falls apart.
When she is in that room, it is showing her greatest fear, which is her parents not being proud of what she has accomplished.
Right.
But her parents have never been like that. At least they don't express that. So why would she even feel that at all?
Felt like a lazy version of Queena. But where like Queena, we got her background, like we saw the flashbacks.
Yeah.
With Rey, we don't get any of that.
Because we had time to get to know Queena, and we saw her strength and her vulnerability, which is why she's a well-rounded character, which is why when she's stabbed like fucking a million times in that alley, you're like, oh my god,
You feel it.
Oh. And when they get back, and she, not only is her mother there, but her father comes too, you're like, you have this thing because you know that's what she's been carrying in her heart this whole time. So it has more impact. We don't get that in season 3.
Well,
and Ryuji's stupid.
Just to,
I hate him.
He's a
just to, summarize all of this in a nutshell, I definitely think that you should go watch this show, watch all of it. There's no reason to ignore season 3. If you've seen all 3, go back and watch the first 2. Season 3 is not going to ruin that experience for you. Season 1 and 2 are still a masterpiece. It's still a full, concise story with a beginning and end. It sticks to what it's doing. It has plenty of room to breathe. It's got plenty of character development. You're going to find some characters in here that you just cannot stand. You're going to find some that you identify with immediately and just love. You're going to watch those characters die and you're going to feel it. And then you're going to watch season 3 and it's going to feel like a fan fiction live action remake of a Reddit post.
There's two other things I think we need to talk about and then we can wrap this up. One is the appearance of everybody we would have rather fucking seen at the very end, and Arisu's just everyone's psychiatrist now.
Thank you for mentioning this, because I think they shouldn't have done this at all.
No, if you're not going to have Shishia, Aguni, it's nice to see where they went, but it's just like it's literally just remember these characters you like more?
Yes.
All right, anyways, they're gone now. Fuck.
I just like seeing them in general, but I wish that they would have played a part in the games instead.
Sure.
Maybe some of them could have died.
I told Jess this while we were watching that scene. I was like, this is just member berries. This is what this is. And it's trying to bring all these characters from seasons 1 and 2 back in a way to make you feel good that they were there. And it just didn't need to be part of this story.
As nice as it is to know that everybody is doing well, it's nice to see that Naragi turned his life around, because while he was a shit before and he was a shit in the Borderlands, there is that moment in season 2 when Shishia wakes up and Naragi's in the bed next to them and they have this conversation of, man, I think I'm going to turn my life around. I was an asshole before.
That was good.
And then they saw it through. Like that.
This scene should have existed at the end of season 2.
I agree. And they should have left it there.
That's Netflix fucking around like
yes,
Netflix
it is.
Does, so.
Yes, it is. So let's talk about the last thing that I want to talk about, which is the clear and obvious setup for season 4. So
the foreshadowing?
the season foreshadowing. So when Arisu is talking to the Watchman, who the fuck he is and where he came from, is he the one controlling the lasers? I think so, because he killed Banda.
Yeah, he's Chiron. That's what I took him as.
Maybe, quite possibly.
He chose to be there because he fears death.
He could have been more interesting if given more time. I don't know enough about him to care one way or the other.
They even mentioned, they say that character is there to persuade the participants to choose death, even though he himself would not.
Because he was a person. Yes. He does tell Arisu he's an interesting human.
He feared death so much that instead of dying, he chose to remain as a citizen in the Borderlands.
But he's also above, because he's not one of the cards or anything. He controls the laser. He kills Banda because he disappointed him.
Becomes a card.
I'm just saying he's above them because they can't control the lasers, as far as I know. No, he doesn't.
I think he's just content.
Well, he plays that game with Arisu, which is stupid.
Alive, I guess.
Oh, they're both Jokers. I was like, fucking watch. The other one's going to be a Joker too. Oh, look at that. One of the things about season 1 and 2 is I could not often super predict where things were going to go. Like Chad with the hide and seek game. You're like, there's no fucking way they're going to kill them all. Oh, boom, boom, boom. That's the kind of good storytelling where you're like, oh, and it keeps you invested.
Yeah, absolutely.
This did not. But he does tell Arisu there's something really bad coming. There's going to be a lot of players soon. And I'm like, okay, here we fucking go. And then, it gets back, there's earthquakes happening. And oh my God, they're happening all around the world. Even Los Angeles, California. And okay, hold on.
So
I'm gonna watch it, but
Hold on. I'm gonna read something real quick. It's a text from Valerie Storm that I got earlier today. She says, okay, I didn't hate that ending. Even if they go American version at the end, at least they built into it nicely. And my response was, LOL, we will certainly have a lot to talk about.
well, I don't because I always think about Squid Games with this. Like, I keep harping, but Squid Games did not. I didn't watch season 2, so I guess I can't talk. But I don't think Squid Games built strongly into. Oh, by the way, we're gonna have an American version.
No,
but this one, it was like it sucks that it was all in one episode. That did suck. But at least it was like something big's gonna happen, because I was like, oh no, is Japan gonna have something bigger?
Right.
And then they were like, actually, it's an earthquake across the entire world, and it wasn't just America. It was like other places too. I don't remember what they said, but it was like.
There were like 7 or 8 places.
Yeah, it was international.
Yeah, at least it was like a little bit of foreshadowing.
So,
at least a little bit.
No, it's heavy foreshadowing. But
yes.
My issue is the very last shot we get is like, it's a cafe in California, and the waitress's name is Alice. Dun, dun, dun. My problem is this is just fucking Netflix, and Netflix has a history of taking things I love, putting them in America, and fucking them up. Do I need to remind anybody of Death Note? Do I need to bring up what the fuck happens when Netflix turns Japanese shit American? It doesn't go well, and I won't watch it.
They really don't know when to quit. And the problem with this too is that seasons 1 and 2 were so good that season 3 felt forced. And I don't know if that had to do with Netflix or what, because I feel like Netflix just finds these things and then they become producers of it. I think
it has to do with far less talented writers writing fan fiction of things and then letting it turn into a clear fucking cash grab if they go the American version.
4 is we actually get it. And the setup that they gave this has Netflix all over it because they don't know when to stop.
It reeks of Netflix.
They have something that's popular. Then they can't just let it be 2 seasons and be done and be perfect. Nope. They got to carry it on, or it'll be something that's great and then just don't continue it. This is time and time again what
that's
Netflix
the
does.
Problem with being an anime fan in general. We're used to heartbreak like that.
So it is what it is. It looks like we're going to get an American version of this show.
I'm not going to watch it.
I'll hate watch it with Val.
Yeah, but don't fucking do it where I walk through, because you did this to me with Death Note. You were watching it in the living room. I walked in. Yes, it was terrible. And it was when Elle fucking pulled out a gun and started jumping over cars and running down the street. And I was like, I hate everything in this world. And no, fuck you. Goodbye. No. Just leave it alone. But they can't, because there's money to be made. And that is the complete opposite reason why anybody should ever make anything ever. It offends me to my soul.
So, just to wrap this up, at least my personal opinion, season 1 and 2 are a masterpiece. Season 3 is underwhelming. It's kind of a letdown. It does have really good moments.
It does have moments.
That just don't really go anywhere, and they just kind of are these little moments. And like I said, I compared it to the Bill and Ted movies.
Yeah.
I stand by that. I think the first 2 Bill and Ted movies are great. And I think the third one just didn't need to exist, but it doesn't matter that it does because it's fun and fine.
I thought the third one was fine. It was nice having the older versions see their younger selves. I like that. I don't care what you say. Is it the best one? No. That would be the second one, in my opinion.
What do you think, Jess?
What do I think? You call her Jess?
You.
Oh.
What?
Well, because you were looking at the computer. What do I think about season 3 or overall? Overall, seasons 1 and 2 are some of my favorite things. I have watched this multiple times. I will watch it again. It doesn't hit any less hard, and it is so smart and hits every aspect of what it is to be human. And from giving up to seeing it through, to being a fucking nightmare, to never giving up and finding friends and love and hope and trusting each other, even when everything in the world around you is kind of saying, oh, is that really the smartest idea? They could stab you in the back, you know. You know, that is another thing in season 1 and 2 that never even comes up. Season 3, before they go into the final game, Ray straight up says, hey, if I have to betray you in here, like, no hard feelings, right? And Tetsu's like, yeah, that's just how it goes. Yeah. That is the difference in a nutshell. Arisu, like everybody in season 2, like when the king of, what is it? The king of spades? King of clubs? Whatever. The shooty guy. Whenever they are teaming up and everyone is willing to die if that's what it takes to bring this fucker down, to give Arisu time to set the thing, to make the plan happen, which the plan itself is kind of silly, but shush, we're not going into that. But they never give up. They have been stabbed and beaten and shot multiple fucking times, and they're still getting up. They're still doing what they can, and they never betray each other. And past the beach, right? After the beach, it's a different game. It's face cards, season 2. Everyone, you know, Kuina goes off to try and find Shishia and An and Tata because, you know, they got, not Tata, but they try and, you know, I gotta find them. We got to make sure our people are okay. Let's check in. Chishia gets shot, and is like, go on, like, you know, then everybody's attacked in the alley. Arisu, Usagi, you've got to finish this game.
That was a better show of teamwork than the entire season 3.
Which
was based around teamwork.
Oh, God.
Yeah, no.
Well, I don't think the whole theme is like teamwork and working together. Even like in the games where it's like, obviously, not everyone's going to win. But it's like, if they work together, they could save a lot more lives.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. And so, yeah, overall, season 1 and 2, like you say, I do believe are a fucking masterpiece. Season 3 has a couple of moments, but ultimately it's a letdown, and I will not watch season 4. As far as I'm concerned, that's the end of it, and I can just love season 1 and 2 and leave it at that.
Yeah, I didn't need season 3 at all, but it wasn't the worst.
I liked Zombie Game. I liked watching the fire arrows.
The fire arrows were so cool.
They were cool.
Don't get me wrong. I mean, when it comes to season 3, like, the special effects are phenomenal.
Oh, sure.
Especially in that final episode where the tsunami comes and it's devastating Tokyo and everything, and it's got the giant whirlpool. Like, watching it, I was more interested in the visuals than I was what was actually going on.
Right.
Because there's some, like, things that they pulled off here that were just very expensive to do.
And very impressive to watch.
But then it's like...
But there's no substance to it, so
exactly.
At the end of the day, I'm watching really cool special effects, which is not why I come to this.
Exactly, and that's why it's so underwhelming to me, because they did put a lot of time and effort and money into the visuals in season 3, and none of the writing really, with the exception of, you know, like I said, a few things here and there.
Yeah.
Especially like one of the games that was incredible, the zombie card game. Val, what is your overall opinion on the series as a whole?
I'm with Jess on this. Like, season 1 and 2, perfect, amazing, fantastic. I would watch them every weekend. Season 3 was unnecessary, and it was just a Netflix cash grab. And it's terrible because, like, Squid Games was already making them tons of money. Like, why do you have to touch the things that we like?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, and while both series, Squid Game and Alice in Borderland, are very similar, they have similar... It's a similar show, it just is. The themes are a little different. The situations they're in are different, but it is kind of the same show. And I feel the same way with season 1 and 2 of Alice in Borderland and season 3 that I do with Squid Game season 1 and season 2. It fell apart in the second season. Squid Game did. It fell apart in the second season for me. It was not nearly as interesting. And like Val mentioned, it did feel kind of cash grabby and trying to, you know, to capitalize on something that was popular and then bring
5
it
years
back.
ago. Like what?
Yes, exactly. But the thing that, you know, Squid Game didn't have going for it was the fact that season 1 came out during lockdown. So that was something that everyone was collectively enjoying together. And then season 2 came out earlier this year.
Yeah.
Beyond all that, and it's just something that didn't command your attention. And I feel like season 3 of Alice in Borderland just did not command my attention the same way that season 1 and 2 did.
Yes, yeah, it has a lot in common with season 2 of Squid Game. You're like, oh, well, how is Arisu and Usagi going to get back in the games? Clearly they're going to have to, so how are they going to do that? Okay.
And then there was like no stakes. Like I knew immediately, like they were not going to die. Like
no,
they weren't going to kill them. So I was like, why do I care?
Yeah,
they killed the only guy
definitely played a bigger role this season because while you assume that chances are pretty good, at least Arisu's going to make it out season 1 and 2. There's no guarantee. They showed by killing Karobe and Chota so early on that Usagi isn't necessarily going to fucking make it. Chishiya, everyone else you've grown to care about is not necessarily going to make it. You know, that they do, which I think is a little bit of a cop-out. They've been laying there for hours bleeding out, really, but Anne should have died and Kuina should have died, and but just...
Whatever.
Well, my recommendation is to go watch the series, at least with seasons 1 and 2.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you're going to get through that in 2 days if you binge it. It's not going to feel like a waste of time. There's so many things that I've tried to binge that at the end of it, I'm just like, well, that was a weekend wasted, you know. I highly recommend watching the series. Mm-hmm. I think that you should watch season 3 just because, if nothing else, it'll give you a far better appreciation of seasons 1 and 2. And how much better written they were, how much better the characters were, and maybe it'll make you go rewatch season 1 and 2.
I would say definitely watch season 1 and 2. And then if you want to experience some of the stuff we've talked about here, go for it. We really didn't talk about Ryuji a whole lot, and I'm perfectly fine with that. I don't like his character. He wasn't really a good antagonist. His motivation swayed wildly. A lot of it made no fucking sense. Like, him talking to Banda and the deal they had going on. And then he was going to do it, but, he can't do it. Like, I don't care. Like, just shut up.
Yeah, they really tried to make him a sympathetic character right at the end, after he was an asshole through the whole thing. Yeah. And I just, you can't do that with a character. Like, you need more time of their growth, becoming who they are, than you do with them being the asshole character that you despise.
100%. He wasn't good enough as an antagonist or a villain, and he wasn't good enough as a sympathetic character. He was a tool to get Usagi back in the games, and it was weak sauce, and no thank you.
Yeah, I agree.
So.
All right, well, with that, we can call that an episode. Val, where can people find you?
Oh, unfortunately, I'm still on Twitter. I'm Valerie_Storm on there. And I'm on Blue Sky, Valerie Storm. That's it though. I'm social media out.
Oh, right on. Jess, where can people find you?
I do have an Instagram, but I'm not really on it. I actually regained access to my Twitter account, so that's probably the best place to find me. I'm at JHL Moon. So yeah, but honestly, my life is not involved with social media. If so, it's because I'm running the Shadow Spark Instagram now. So, I repost stuff there, but I'm not on I have a Blue Sky account. I'm not going back. I deleted the app. I'm not going to be there. So you can find me on Twitter and come say hi if you want. My numbers look really high as far as follower count, but I think they're mostly bots. So don't worry about that. Just come say hi.
Yeah, you can find me. I'm on Instagram at Chad J. Moon. You can follow the podcast on Instagram as well at The Pretty Little Podcast. We've got the YouTube channel at youtube.com/@theprettylittlepodcast 69420. Thank you, Val, for joining us on this episode. It was great to talk to you again.
Yeah.
Yes. I love talking to you.
Come back whenever you want. You have an open door. We have an open door policy when it comes to you.
I'm going to make you a key.
Oh, she should have a key.
Now that we have a permanent home, I'm going to give you a key the next time you come.
Oh, I love that too.
All right. Thanks to everybody listening and downloading. It really does help. I do appreciate everybody that reaches out to us on Instagram and interacts with the show there. Mm-hmm. It is very, very appreciated.
A lot of new listeners, by the way. We've been getting notifications on a lot of different downloads on different episodes. So I know. So reach out. Let's talk.
All right, well.
And buy my book.
Yeah. And buy Val's book.
Buy all the books.
Buy our books.
Oh, yeah. I do have a publishing house. It's Shadow Spark Publishing. It's shadowsparkpub.com. We've got everything from fantasy to horror, to romance, to poetry, to science fiction, to, if you want something really well written and kind of off the beaten path, that's where you can check us out.
Yeah. All right. Well, thanks everybody. We'll see you next time.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.